Hello, everybody. I have a jumble of old pens. A little while ago, a friend of mine gave me a box, a cigar box full of old pens that he had that he thought I would have fun trying to fix up. And I got a couple working, and I pulled out a few that I'm quite interested in working on and trying to figure out the problems of each pen. Um, There are two Parkers, Parker Vacumatics, and there is a Sheaffer Snorkel. The Sheaffer Snorkel is mostly fairly straightforward. It's this one back here. The main problem is, and I haven't really spent any time trying to do it yet, but the snorkel, somebody had actually taken it apart at one point and put it back together, and they put the snorkel in backwards. It it all still mechanically works, but I have to take this out, reattach it properly so that the angled end uh, feeds out. There also is a latex sac in there, but I don't know if it's working. I'll take it off. I'm going to I'm just going to take all this apart at some time, not right now, but um, get a new sac in there probably, reset the snorkel, and see how it works. The other thing is actually that's in pretty good shape. That's the spring. There's all these weird little parts with the snorkel. I'm just going to move these other pens out of the way first. So, need the body. So everything pretty much is in good shape except for the snorkel being backwards. New latex sac has to go in, and I'll have to reset the feed. The nib is loose in there, so figure out what's going on there. Clean it all up. I gave it a soak, and it seems pretty good actually. There wasn't too much old ink in there. Um, I'm not too sure exactly if I have the right body or not, or actually the right cap, because um, as you can see, the threads here are silver and the cap is gold, but that's okay. But it still works. Still seals up. Nice little pen. I love snorkels. They're fun to use. I have another one that's in good working condition that I had fixed up from this same lot, and I'm going to just sort of experiment with it, see what happens. Yeah, so basically this will have to be pulled out. There's a seal in here that I'll have to reset probably. And but I'm not an expert, but I do love tinkering with old pens. And a snorkel, I've taken a couple apart and fixed them up already. And there's lots of information online if you're trying to do it. It's a very interesting pen, beautiful pen actually, in my opinion. So that's one project I'm going to work on. The other two are a little bit beyond my capabilities. Well, actually, they're not necessarily beyond my capabilities. Right now, I have two little Parker Vacumatics, and both of them, well, the biggest problem I'm having with them is replacement nibs. At one point, this Vacumatic here, somebody had put I think it's an Osmoroid Eclipse nib on it. Probably the original was broken. They went into a shop. They had a nib. They found a nib that fit. They put it on. Off you went. But I'd like to find a vintage gold nib for it. First thing I have to find out exactly is the date and what nib did go original with the pen. It was made in Canada. There is some information on the pen. I still have all the body is in excellent shape. And everything seems to work. Even when you press the plunger, there's a nice spring to it, so that feels good. But it's the nib that I have to look for. I love old Parker Vacumatics. I don't have a working one, and it's one of those pens on my list for vintage pens. This was made in Canada. I'm not really too up on the identifying process of the Vacumatics, there is an imprint on the body, made, Parker Vacumatic, made in Canada. And after that, everything gets kind of worn. There's some numbers that are, I'm really going to have to spend a little time trying to identify. I can make out some of them. The other ones are worn, but there is one large one. Like, there's a series of numbers. I think the first numbers is 3 by the look of it, and then the other ones are worn. And then there's a large 4 after the faded numbers that is of a different size than the other numbers. So I'm wondering if a number 4 nib of some form. If you know, let me know. That's why I'm doing this video. I'm looking for information. So if you know what that number 4 after this, like the larger number 4 after the smaller number 4 means, is a dating system. If I could see the numbers clearly, I could probably date the pen pretty closely. The other thing I'm wondering about is if the cap is original to this pen. It fits, and it looks right, like material. But as you can see, the lines don't exactly look right to my modern eye. But I'm also thinking it is the original pen cap with the original body. So once I figure out the year, the nib size, I then have a long hunt looking for a nib. Now, I did go online and I did see some different ones. I saw some. There is lots of information online about the original nibs for the Vacumatic, and I was reading them. I just want to make sure I have the right size. They did come in different sizes, and the period, and then it's a matter of saving up or trying to find the right one. Mainly because sometimes you can get a little crazy trying to find stuff that's vintage. Sometimes you see prices that are reasonable. Sometimes you see prices that are just outrageous. But I'll look around. And I know there's a guy in Ottawa, 15 Pens, who fixes Vacumatics. Maybe I should get in touch with him and see what's going on. But I'm going to leave that for later, because part of the fun is the hunt. So I'm going to do the research, try to find out as much information about the pen, the year, whether what nib is needed, and so on. Now, the other one, the little one. So I have 2. I'm just going to put that back on. And this also is another Parker, and it's a very small little one. If you know the exact name of this, let me know. I'm looking for that. Actually, the imprint's a little better on that one. I just glanced at it earlier, and so I'm going to take all that information down, do some research. That's part of the fun, right? It's also part of the fun asking people on YouTube, do you know what this pen is? Anyway, now, it's a lovely little pen. I really love this little pen, and I'm really hoping to get this one fixed up too. I love little pens. I don't have huge hands, but I do have regular person-sized man hands. But I love little pens. I'm always kind of self-conscious when I pull out when I see a huge pen. It looks kind of funny, in my opinion, for me, sitting there somewhere with a giant fountain pen. But this is such a sweet little pen. The body's in good shape. There's all the clip and the cap band is really nice, and the finials are in good shape. There's the jewel is beautiful. And I think it has the original nib on it. But sadly, if you can see that right there, yeah, little crack right in the nib. Anyway, so feed looks good though. I don't know if I can get that off. Anyway, but and that feels good right there. There's a nice springiness to that. There's probably a diaphragm or latex sac of some form in there. You can still get all the parts pretty much online. You know, you just have to know what you're ordering. So, uh, now here's a question. Can you put any, and I kind of know the answer to this. If I find the right sized nib, I could put it in there. A gold nib, probably and that's a little one. That's like, I'll have to find the correct size, take it out, measure it, so I'll know what size it is, and then start hunting. And maybe I come across a nice old vintage gold nib. Ideally, it would be a Parker Vacumatics nib. And so what I'm going to do is like research the pen. You know, I'll keep notes, go through it. I'm only getting started. I haven't really sat down and delved into it too much. I have a rough idea what they are, but if you know, let me know. That's part of my research. But man, that's a lovely little pen. I love this pen. Sadly, anyway, heartbreaking. It sort of caps nicely. And that's a lovely little junior pocket pen. I'm going to say it might be almost a child's pen in some ways. Parker Vacumatics Junior. Was there such a thing? I'm not an expert in Vacumatics. And I'm thinking it's a Vacumatic. Usually when you see a Vacumatic, you get this striations of transparencies on the body. But this is pretty dark. But I was looking at it up closely, and I do think there were some variations in there. You can just make it out right here, like the lines. So the color is either darkened up, or there's some old ink in there that has to come out. I'm not too sure if you need a specialized tool to take the plunger out. Maybe a special wrench, but that goes on beautifully. This section probably comes off right here, but I'm going to have to be very careful. First, I'll look for as much information as I can. And you can often find, once you find out what the pen is, you can often find diagrams of what the parts are. Take this one apart again. I soak these overnight just to start seeing what goes on. Everything works nicely. The threads are excellent. And this does come off this section here. It unscrews. I haven't actually checked to see what's in here. And the threads are excellent. So let's take a little peek. I don't know what's in there. Last time I tipped a pen like that, I had ink all over myself. Anything come out? Maybe an old diaphragm. I don't know if there's an ink sac in there. I would look down there with my flashlight, but my flashlight's on my phone, and I'm shooting this video on my phone. So there's probably... I'll have to look once I figure out what's going on, what I need. If you have, I know there's a really in-depth Parker fountain pen website online. I've looked through it. But if you have it linked to any other specifically about Parker Vacumatics, any information online, let me just send it to me and I'll take a peek. And I'm going to watch lots of videos and I'm going to research these pens. But you could help me out by giving me some information. That's part of the fun of the hobby. Everybody's so good, you know. I find people very helpful. And if I also know that I might have to send these off to somebody who knows what they're doing better, well, more than I do. But I'm going to hunt for parts first, or at least figure out what I need. That's, I like to know how these things work. And it would be lovely to get these little beauties working again. And then there's this Shaeffer, yeah. I love Shaeffer. I wish Shaeffer would... I was going to say something kind of controversial. I wish Shaeffer would come back. I know they haven't really gone out of business. They still exist. They still make pens. Man, I wish they would get back to their glory days, though, coming out with something I get excited about. They do make pens, but they were such a leader at the time, you know, Shaeffer and Parker too. Parker still makes some really beautiful pens, but I want them to come out with something new that really excites me because they were such marvelous companies, and you know, such. So when you go looking through vintage pens, Schaeffers and Parkers and Waterman, oh, they were so great, and they still are in many ways. So anyway, I hope you liked the video. It's just me rambling on about pens and what I'm up to, and I'll talk to you soon. Anyway, give me a thumbs up if you like the video. If you can help me out, let me know in the comments if you have any information about the Vacumatics in particular. Let me know, I don't know, what's your favorite Parker pen? What's your favorite Sheaffer pen? And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new around here, I invite you to subscribe to my rambling, odd little YouTube channel. And hey, you know what? It's almost a year since I started posting videos, and it's been a real blast. So anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.